the Dirty Sports Podcast. I said, welcome to the Dirty Sports Podcast with Andy Ruther and Joe Prano. Welcome to the Dirty Sports Podcast.
Welcome to the Dirty Sports Podcast. I'm your host, Andy Ruther, coming to you live from Cincinnati, Ohio, with my co-host from Port Hueneme, California, Joey No Chill Prano.
Hello, Andy.
Good evening, bro.
Good evening, sir.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, man.
Little Monday night pod.
That's right.
Which,
Thank you for being available for Monday Night Pod. I know you just put your girl to sleep.
She been asleep.
Give her that sleeper hold.
I'm looking at the next gen stats here. She's been asleep for 54 minutes.
Okay.
So I just
and that's like what? Since she stopped moving, or since you put her in the bed, or what? Like how do they next gen stats it? Since she went into REM, since her breathing started.
I think these stats aren't accurate, to be honest. I mean, I don't think she's been asleep for 54 minutes, but you know.
Who's sending these stats? The camera?
The camera, Nanit. Nannit. Yeah. And by the way, it's always, hey mom, I was helped to sleep 54 minutes ago. A little gender bias here. Is dad in this house?
Yeah.
Why can't we get a hey dad?
How about in some houses, hey dads?
Yeah.
You know.
Or how about hey grandma?
Yeah.
Hey uncle, hey aunt.
Yeah, for black households. Hey grandma.
We coming out feisty tonight. We coming out with
last couple episodes fully paywall. You got to still shoot some shots.
We yeah, well, you know, it's a Monday night. We gotta get a little risque.
Yeah.
So you said you wanted to open the show. You have a dilemma with your suicide pool.
So I have a dilemma with my suicide pool. You weighed in on my suicide pool a couple weeks ago. You gave me a good pick, Steelers over Browns. I think my other option, I almost did what? Dolphins over Jets. But you talked me into Browns or Steelers over Browns. I'm now down to the final week, and only two people will remain: myself and one other person. And just before showtime here, I was offered a split.
The old split.
Do you want to go into week, you want to split the pot, or do you want to go into week 18? Week 18, so such a, dicey one. But here's the thing. This week, I went with Rams over Arizona, specifically because that saves me to have Chargers over Raiders week 18. So I have a potential Chargers. That would be my pick. That's essentially the only pick that is reasonable for me to make. I could tell you, I can look at it right now. My other options would be Bears over Seahawks. Sorry, Chargers over, over Raiders, because I'm moving on to week 18. My other options, Browns over Ravens, obviously not taking that. Falcons Panthers game, stay away. Cowboys over Commanders, Bears over Packers, Titans over Texans, Jaguars versus Colts, I have both of them. Patriots over Bills, Giants over Eagles, Saints over Bucks, Chargers over Raiders, Dolphins over Jets. So, and Cardinals over Niners. So it's, to me, obvious. It's Chargers over Raiders.
Well, I mean, what's the money situation here?
It's like $700 a man. Well, no, that's if I split.
Okay, so if you split, it's 700. If you don't split, it's a nice little chunk of change, 1,400.
Right. So now here's the thing.
Mm.
He actually has he still is sitting on Bengals and Steelers, except they play each other. And he's sitting on Bills over Patriots, but Bills probably sitting their guys because they're locked into 2.
But here's an interesting play too with the Bills Patriots game. The Patriots want to lose to get that number 1 draft pick.
Right. But do they lose to get that number 1 draft pick? So the question is, do I say, go fuck yourself? Because I'm due for a split if the Chargers win anyway. And I hope that he goes Bills over Pats and Pats play to win against the backup. Or he picks the wrong side of Bengals Steelers.
Well, obviously the Bengals Steelers is a pretty dicey one.
Yeah.
So that line.
The only other options he have is Browns over Ravens. He's not taking that. Panthers over Falcons. He's not taking that. Cowboys over Commanders. Titans over Texans. He has also the Colts and the Jags. He has the Giants over the Eagles like I do. And he has the Raiders over the Chargers, Jets over the Dolphins, which he wouldn't do. And then Niners and Cardinals.
You never know in the Jets. Here's the thing: the Jets Dolphins game is basically a toss up.
Right. And now I have the Dolphins. I could take that. I've already taken the Jets. I could take the Dolphins. Remarkable, by the way, that I survived while taking the Jets.
My gut instinct is don't split. Let it ride.
Take my Chargers and hope he. It feels like he offered me the split because he's like, I'm going to take the Bills, but who the fuck knows? What if the Patriots play to win?
Well, the Chargers, here's the thing. They obviously beat the hell out of the Patriots last week. You want to go in. I think Harbaugh is obviously a really good coach. You want to go in, even though they're 2 bad teams, back-to-back wins. Plus, we talked about it. Seeding matters because everybody in the AFC wants to play the Texans in the first round. So there's a good chance the Steelers lose to the Bengals, which then the Chargers, if they win, slide up because they lost head-to-head to the Steelers. So then the Chargers move up. We all know the Chargers, they don't want to go to Baltimore for first round. They'd much rather go to Houston.
Of course, it's less east. It's a worse team.
Not the brother game distraction.
I mean, do you think that what would you put at percent chances that the Chargers lose to the Raiders in a pseudo must-win game for them?
The NFL's so wild. It's tough to predict. I'd still put it at 25 to maybe 30%. Probably 25.
So I either go Chargers and then I go, fuck you, pick the wrong game, pick the wrong Steelers-Bengals side, or it's obvious to me he's going to go Bills. And then what if the Patriots play to win?
Can we talk about the Patriots?
Yeah.
Dude, here's my take on the Patriots. I know it's been 1 year. Just fire Gerard Mayo and bring in Mike Vrabel. Give me a reason why they shouldn't do that.
Well, the reason that they shouldn't do that, I don't have a reason to not fire Gerard Mayo and hire Mike Vrabel. I'm not, again, this is not me defending it, but just trying to get in the head. Mike Vrabel was available last year. So if they wanted Patriots Hall of Famer Mike Vrabel to be their head coach, why didn't they just do that?
Because they're stupid. You know, this is what I'm going to say, and this is kind of a bigger point I want to make, and I've already made it about these NFL owners. Some of these guys are so smart business-wise, and they make the billions of dollars because they're obviously savvy in the business world, and then they do things like that, like
listen. First of all, there's a lot of people who are NFL owners that didn't make any money in the business world. They just inherited their money and then they bought an NFL team, which was, to be fair, very smart because but NFL owners more often than not aren't really helping themselves other than just be like, oh, let's just be an NFL owner.
Well, that's fair. I actually would like to. That'd be an interesting thing to look at. How many owners inherited a team, or how many owners came into family money, regardless. But that's a prime example. You have the guy waiting in place, Gerard Mayo, and like nothing against him, but he didn't have a Mike Vrabel pedigree. And then I'm watching the game last night, and I'm laughing. And I told you this. I was going to do this all year. When the Falcons do something stupid, like Raheem Morris not calling a timeout when he has to, and I'm watching that game, I'm going, you chose this guy over Bill Belichick. This guy. You chose Raheem Morris, who literally doesn't understand. Is he saving the timeout for next week? What's he doing?
No one knows, and no one will ever know.
It was one of the dumbest things I've ever seen. Again, it's like, you reap what you sow, man. Bill Belichick's calling timeout there. I'll tell you that much.
Let me ask you a question, because I don't think he ends up on the Bears. I don't think he ends up as the coach of the Bears, although whatever. We talked about how absolutely fucking moronic the Titans were to let Mike Vrabel leave. And of course, Alex from Kentucky lives in a sewer underground now because he's not allowed to be he has to remain subterranean to hide from his takes. But we talked about the total wins over the course of Callahan's time, a similar amount of time with the Titans, which I think we all agree he won't last that long. But let me ask you a question. Will Mike Vrabel, wherever he ends up, have more wins in the time between he gets hired and Callahan gets fired, if you include the wins from this year? Will Mike Vrabel win more games wherever he goes in the window of time before Callahan gets fired?
Yeah,
when you include the plus.
Yeah, because Vrabel would only be going into that down 3 or 4.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a no-brainer. 100%. But dude, you and I always say this. We always say, and I feel like most people don't say, I don't know why. It's 3 things to go far in the playoffs. It's your quarterback, it's your defense, and it's your coach. It's not rocket science. So you got to make any splash, you got to have at least 2 of the 3. You have to have at least 2 of the 3 if you want to go any distance in the playoffs. So yeah, these guys, that's my point. Like, you chose Raheem Morris over Bill Belichick. You got rid of Vrabel and you hired the guy who didn't even really call the plays for the Bengals, who've also had so many people critique their play calling. So it's just like, you reap what you sow. I don't feel bad for any of those decisions. And then conversely, you look at these teams where the QB, obviously, I mean, I really enjoy watching Washington. It's because you see they were such a dumpster fire. And then they get rid of the owner and they get a new owner and they draft Jaden Daniels. And it's like, holy shit. They're winning fun games at the end. Like there was something there, is my point.
Do you think that the Commanders are dangerous to a 2 or 3 seed, which would be an Eagles or I guess it would be like Rams, probably?
Yes.
To either of them or just to the Rams?
Well, they already beat the Rams, I believe. I think they are dangerous. I was saying earlier in the year I didn't think so, but now I think those back-to-back wins instill a lot of confidence when you win at the end, when you come from behind, especially the young quarterback, right? I think it instills a lot of confidence. So I think they are dangerous. I mean, look, you brought. Here's the thing. Actually, that's a great question. Who would I have more faith in the Commanders beating? The Eagles or the Rams?
I think it's got to be the Rams, just because the Rams played an incredible football game a couple weeks ago against the Bills, but they also, they damn near lost to the Cardinals.
They did. By the way, I stand corrected. I thought that they lost to the Commanders earlier in the year. They did not play. They didn't play.
I mean, they've split with the Eagles, obviously without Hurts for a lot of that game, but who knows when the fuck Hurts is back? I know it's a concussion, whatever, but like
every time I say tush push, I think of Prano just saying
butt fuck.
Butt fuck the quarterback.
It's just incredible to me that this is a fucking the incredible thing is about the tush push is
everybody's doing it.
It was always insane to me that teams couldn't figure out how to get a half a yard 100% of the time anyway. But then somebody being like, oh, we can get it every time anyway. We just have to hit the most important and most expensive player on our team, who otherwise we tell to avoid hits at all costs.
I love the tush push. I'm not gonna lie. I don't think I've ever openly said that. Every time it's like third or fourth and short, I'm watching the games yelling, do the tush push. Do it.
I insist on calling it the butt fuck. So my girlfriend will be like, what are you saying? I'm like, here comes the butt fuck. And she's like, is that a play? I'm like, yeah, watch this. I was like, they actually make Jalen Hurts take down his pants before he does it.
Oh, I love it. Here's the thing. That's what I'm saying. Like, you got teams doing it. You're like, oh, you're doing it with that QB. They're doing it with everybody now. Tush pushes everybody. By the way, I'm really excited about tonight's episode. I have a lot of notes. You didn't look at them.
Ooh.
I have but I have a lot of talking points. It's thick. The NFL discussion is thick. I have a lot of things I want to say. I want to go back to coaching. We talked about coaching. I want to go back to this Bengals Broncos game. You talk about bad coaching decisions on both teams. I don't know if you watched any of it, but it's a low scoring game in the first half. Twice the Bengals go for it on fourth and short inside like the 15 or inside the 20.
Can you hold on 1 second?
Yeah.
I'll be right back. Keep talking.
I'll keep talking. So the Bengals don't get it either time. They don't get it either time. You know it's going to be a defensive battle because you're going against the Broncos, who have a good defense. I believe they're top 5 in the NFL and fewest points per game given up on defense. And again, I'm just scratching my head. Like, you have the advantage. You're at home. You have the home crowd in Cincinnati. Take the points. You know points are going to be hard to come by. That game goes into overtime, and I'm just laughing. Now people are going to go, Ruther, the guy missed it to give me field goal. Dude, yeah.
Which game are we talking about?
I'm talking about the Bengals Broncos game in the first half.
Right.
Both times Taylor went for it on fourth and short.
I just want you to know I just narrowly avoided murder right now. I just realized I started this episode while leaving one of my dogs in the front yard, just like unattended. If my fiance had come home and seen that, I'd be dead.
Yeah.
So I was hearing him barking. I'm like, where the fuck is he barking?
That's good.
Yeah. So we're back. Let's hope she doesn't see it on the ring cam.
Although that would have been good for ratings if you would have been murdered on a camera. Not gonna lie. I'm just saying, like, I think it's a terrible decision. You're at home. You have the home crowd. You know points are really hard to come by, especially the first 3 quarters of that game. And they make, again, it's like, dude, it didn't work the first time. The second time, just take the points. Terrible decision that the game doesn't even go into overtime if they kick one of those field goals and make them. So that's my first thing. Terrible coaching decision. 2, when the Broncos tie that game up, or I'm sorry, when the Broncos score that touchdown with 8 seconds left to be down 1, I 100% am going for 2 there. But my thing with Sean Payton is you're going to put the ball back in Joe Burrow's hands, or you're going to take that chance. You're going to take that chance. The entire stadium has just been deflated. The noise, everything. Like you're you're playing against a team who's like hanging on every little last ounce of hope. So there's all that energy that the stadium has all night. You make this insane play
Yeah.
on fourth down. Why would you not go for 2?
The reasoning is even terrible. First of all, the rule generally is you're on the road, right?
And that's my point.
His reasoning was we also like a tie is also good for us.
The worst reasoning I've ever heard.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Well, no one stopped anybody in a couple fucking hours, so I guess you'll probably get through 10 minutes of overtime without fucking anybody scoring.
Yeah, you guys have literally been trading points in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
Now, granted, it did go down. They both kept trading possessions. It's just again, like coaches, I don't think they understand fucking momentum and how real it is.
Listen, I feel like I've talked about being on an island. I feel like I've been alone on Sean Payton is overrated island for a long time too. I mean, that's not even conservative. That's just dumb. It's just dumb. You're on the dude. Not only that, but your quarterback, like the ball's in the air on an incredible play that makes it, and he's going 2. He's yelling for 2 the second they get in. Oh, well, our whole team wants to go for it. Fuck them, though.
I'm
Sean
team,
Payton. No one makes the call on this team wearing a helmet. It's the guy with the visor, and you remember that. Who's got 2 thumbs, a visor, and only bad ideas? This guy.
Well, and also, Sean, if you're the offensive guy, you're going against an absolute dumpster fire, trash defense. You don't have a play in there. You don't have a play to get 2 yards to just steal that. Not only just steal that game, seal a playoff berth. Knock them out of the playoffs.
Now, there's this conversation that's around about the Chiefs and the Broncos and the Bengals and the can I say something that Justin Wood will probably be the only person that will get upset hearing, but it must be said. The idea that the Chiefs give a single fuck about whether or not the Cincinnati Bengals make the playoffs is hilarious.
Couldn't agree more.
If you think there is any strategy in the KC camp where they're like, we got to make sure Cincy doesn't get in the playoffs, you are fucking retarded. No one, like, yeah, there might be, I'm sure that the Bills are sitting at home going, maybe we'd rather play the fucking this than that. I don't know.
Yeah, because that's who it would be. Of course, here's the thing. The Bills are the 2 seed. The options for 7 seed are either Broncos, Bengals, or Dolphins.
Everybody, by the way, wants to play the Dolphins.
Everybody. I want to play the Dolphins. Can I play them?
Yeah.
Can we bring them out here to Cincinnati?
Yeah.
The end of the cul-de-sac?
Yeah.
2
The only person not rooting for the Dolphins to get in is the guy who's in charge of the NFL CTE study. He's like, no, please don't get in.
And I'm going to say this much too. I don't think the Bills give a fuck. Look, the Bills defense has been sus at times. You know what hasn't been sus? The scoring. Were the Bills going to put up 75 points on that Bengals defense at home? Oh, well, the Bengals. You know what I keep hearing from idiot Bengals fans? Oh, well, the Bengals beat them on the road. Yeah, 2 fucking years ago, dude.
Yeah, exactly. All right. It's crazy to me because, like, honestly, there's some part of me that's like, if you think that first of all, the Chiefs have a bye. So I wouldn't be surprised if the Chiefs are like, we want the Bengals in. Maybe the Bengals knock off the fucking Bills. And then we can play a fucking absolute, like, ludicrously hilarious defense, then have to face Josh Allen. Like, great. I wouldn't be surprised if the Chiefs are literally rooting for the Bengals to get in. I can tell you one thing for sure, though. They don't give a fuck whether, like, they're not scared of them.
No. Definitely not.
You ever dance with the devil in the pale moonlight?
He's so stupid. Well, look, let me put it this way. The Bengals beat the Chiefs in the playoffs 3 fucking years ago. Three seasons ago. 3 seasons. Yeah. I couldn't agree more. Trust me. I live here. Don't even get me started. Dude.
Don't let us get in.
I'm just going to say this.
Or else what?
I'm losing my patience with dumb fan takes. Dumb fan takes here. Dude, I had a buddy send out in our group text, a screenshot of like the Bengals odds to make the playoffs. He said a true underdog story. I literally wrote back. They were a top 5 Vegas odds to make it / win the Super Bowl. I said, actually, it's the opposite. I said, you should be boycott. You should go down and boycott how they wasted now back-to-back seasons of Joe Burrow. Wasted. And underdogs, like the idiocy of home. I mean, I know we say it all the time. The idiocy of Homer fans and always with the rose-colored glasses.
Listen, let me clarify something. Bro, yeah, of course the Bengals could get into the playoffs and beat the Bills. Of course the Bengals could get in the playoffs and go on a run. Like,
for sure.
It's the NFL. Anything is possible. But the idea, when you talk about the lunacy of fans, the idea that a team that's going for its three-peat, that knows it has to get through everybody, that did it last year on the road, is sitting at home strategizing, not having to face Joe Burrow, is fucking clown shoe shit. And I can't believe how much I've heard it.
And you know what? I'm going to add on to this conversation. Obviously he's having a great year. He's not in the MVP discussion for me.
Well, I mean, again, listen, I understand that he isn't the defense, but there's got to be, you look at last year. Again, we talked about it last year, and people fucking cry. Every fucking Patriots fan in history, if Goldberg had money for a paywall, he'd be punching holes in his wall right now. He'd be shadow boxing holes in his wall right now. But like, people don't want to hear it. Dude, the Matt Castle thing has always been real for me and will forever be real for me. And Peyton Manning going down and them winning 0 games is something for me and will always be something for me. It's like Jake Browning
went 4-3
and had you at the exact same fucking record. Like, you went into the end of last season with the exact same fucking record. So when you talk about the jump, now listen, Joe Burrow is infinitely better. Okay. But at the same time, I don't know who the backup is for the Bills, but they finish below the Dolphins and they finish below the Jets if whoever the fuck that is plays for the Bills.
But not only that, like I know we've had this conversation, but now that we've seen this year play out for Josh Allen, dude, I was always here's my thing. I was always, in the last few years, I was Patrick Mahomes, Joe Burrow. That was my order. How can I not move Josh Allen above Burrow when literally he loses his 2 top receivers? And I'm just going to say it, guys. Joe Burrow has literally always, and I love Joe Burrow, but he's always had a stud.
Not only that, listen, it would be tough for me if you asked me who I wanted moving forward. it'd be tough for me because
Also, injuries.
I was going to say because I think that, the running is a big part of Josh Allen's game.
For sure.
So many rushing touchdowns this year. I think it's a fucking dangerous game to play. He is built different in terms of I'm not as afraid of him taking you can't, Jaden Daniels doesn't play the way Josh Allen does. If he did, he might not survive. So it'd be tough for me because Joe Burrow is more of a straight up pocket passer who then scrambles when he needs to. But Joe Burrow is more injury prone than Josh Allen.
Joe Burrow, I don't know how we forget this. He had Justin Jefferson and Jamar Chase. Guys, just think about that. He had the two top receivers in the NFL were his receivers at LSU. And then by his second year.
And I'm assuming, I'm just going to go ahead and assume that some other guy on that team is also in the fucking league playing receiver.
Oh, I'm sure. But again, I'm not trying. All I'm saying is, but we'll do it right now. What stud quarterback in the NFL has a top 5 draft pick receiver? Let me put it this way. Let me put it this way. I was having a good discussion with my buddies about this last night, and he's not like a Cincinnati Bengal homer fanboy. He's like me. He's like, just gonna call it as it is. He goes, and also this backs up what Steve Smith was saying the other day. They were having a huge discussion about this on the NFL Network. And I've never heard anyone say this. Bengals fans are going to lose their mind if they hear this. Steve Smith, the former receiver Steve Smith, says, dude, we always talk about Burrow. We're talking about Burrow's great. He goes, who needs who more? Does he need Jamar more? Or does Jamar? And his argument, and he said that, he goes, I think Burrow needs Jamar more. He goes, I think you put Jamar on any team.
Well, that's for sure. I mean, to some degree, right? Like those guys are going to get there. Look at the fucking Giants. The Giants are a disaster, and I don't even. We'll save my fucking tank rage for later on. But Malik Neighbors is going to break the all-time rookie receiving records. Like he's going to have the most receptions. No, he's gonna break it. Like he is a couple of yard receptions away next week from fucking.
Really?
Pretty sure.
You sure? No way. He doesn't have more than like Jamar Chase had. Oh, he's got, dude. I didn't realize he had 104 receptions. Okay, I didn't realize that. No, Puka. I think Puka had it.
What's the rookie receptions record?
I think Puka took it. Brock Bowers is 108. Damn, Brock Bowers is 108. Let's see here. Yeah, Brock Bowers overtook it. Puka had 105 last year. Oh, wide receiver. Are we talking wide receiver? Because if it's wide receiver, he's going to break it.
And but I mean, who's even the all-time? I mean, is there multiple tight ends that are up there?
No, I think it's just
Brock Bowers. So he's going to break it. He's just also chasing it. He's also somebody else's year.
Yeah.
But this is look at this. Brock Bowers and fucking Malik Neighbors are both on terrible fucking teams.
That's a good point.
So that doesn't fucking prove our point any less.
But by the way, I have to reiterate, I'm not trying to take anything away from Joe Burrow. All I'm saying, guys, is that he's only had fucking studs from his LSU days to the Bengals. Now his rookie year, he had an aging AJ Green and he had a rookie T Higgins. And obviously his numbers weren't as good, but he was also a rookie and he got hurt. That's all I'm saying. Like that's why, Prano, back to my point. Josh Allen has moved above him because their two top receivers left. They left. And everybody's like, well, what are they going to do? What are they going to do?
Listen, here's the thing. I'm not I'm still a Joe Burrow fan. Always have been. Always
So
been.
am I.
He's a top 5 quarterback. He's a top 3 quarterback for both of us.
For sure.
It's Mahomes. It's Burrow. It's Allen. It's we can go from there. I know there's people don't want to hear that I have Justin Herbert in there. People don't want to hear whatever. But the fact remains is like I love Joe Burrow. Always have. Always will. Again, you seems like you're even maybe more on like starting the team tomorrow. You might be leaning more toward Josh Allen than even I am. I would have to think about that one. It's obviously Mahomes won, but here's the thing: he wouldn't get an MVP vote from me.
No, and that's all I'm saying, and we agree. Like he's a top 3 guy for me. That's all I'm saying. And also, dude, you have way more passing yards, all that stuff, because your defense does suck. So you constantly have to throw the ball to keep your offense, because you're either playing catch up or you got to go score for score.
Right.
So the numbers, because every Bengals fan wants to bring up the numbers and the passing yards and the touchdowns. Yeah, well, they don't have to do that on the other teams. But look, regardless, I don't think the Chiefs care about the Bengals. I don't think the Bills care about the Bengals, to be honest.
No. Because here's the thing. Those teams know they have to beat everybody. Their goal is a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
The Bengals' goal right now is get in the playoffs.
Sure.
That's their goal. The Chiefs and the Bills for a while now, their goal is the Super Bowl. They're like, all right, like we're going to have to beat the Chiefs. We're going to have to beat the Bills. Like, look what the Chiefs last year were like, okay, we got to beat everybody and we got to beat them on the road. This is a cakewalk compared to last year. At least on paper. The Bills might be better, but like been there, done that.
As I get older watching these games and as I get older just covering the NFL, I find the roster makeup so fascinating on how teams play out. And I want to pivot to Minnesota because we're talking about quarterbacks and receivers, and it's just like in defense. And obviously, coach, quarterback, defense. They let Kirk Cousins go. They're 14-2. They paid Jefferson. They have a stacked defense. They're going to be playing next week for the number 1 seed. But my point is that model, I wouldn't pay both. I'd either pay the QB or the wide receiver. Everybody wants to point to Philly, but that's
Philly's window is this year.
Yeah, I don't know what happens next year with Cap.
Well, Devontae Smith's still on his rookie deal.
You sure about that?
Isn't he? I mean, how long has he been in the league?
No, I think they paid.
Well, they pay AJ Brown's paid.
I think they paid Devontae Smith. Yeah, no. They gave him a 3-year, $75 million contract extension. $51 million guaranteed.
Wow.
So he's
their window's literally this year.
So I don't know. Like, I mean, you're saying
I know because they have a young defense. They have Hurts, whose cap number balloons. They're just going to keep kicking that down. AJ, here's the thing. You've extended Devontae Smith. You had this whole thing with AJ Brown. AJ Brown's not on the team in 3 seasons.
No. But what I was saying about Minnesota is dude, it's insane. Like, I think we both I thought the Packers would win yesterday. That was a blowout.
Well, it wasn't a blowout, but
I mean, it was. They made a 4th quarter push. They dominated.
Yeah, they made a 4th quarter push. They They also lost that game by what? What they end up that
2.
game? Yeah, after not kicking a field goal early in the game.
Have we ever seen 2 teams win 14 games in the same division? There's no way.
I can't imagine there's been a 13 win like wild card team.
I think it happened once. I think I saw it in like 99. It was 2 teams you wouldn't think. It was like Jacksonville and Tennessee or some shit in the
Right.
AFC Central. It used to be in the AFC Central.
Yeah.
It was something wild like that. It's crazy, man. What do you do if you're the Vikings?
Well, what's the Packers record right now? They're 13-3.
The Packers?
Yeah.
No, they're 11-5.
Oh, sorry. Right. The Vikings are
They're 14-2.
14-2, and the Lions are 13-2.
The Lions are currently losing right now.
Right. Which would be insane. Can you imagine that?
Well, it doesn't really matter if they win or lose today.
Because whoever wins next week's automatic.
The number 1 seed. The number 1 seed is on the line. Sunday Night Football in Detroit. Dude, Detroit's D looks terrible tonight. I know it's one game, but I think all these injuries, I just keep thinking this Packers surprise in the playoff is going to happen. I just keep thinking it's going to happen.
I do too, weirdly, but it's going to depend on who they play. I've said that before. Like, I almost want the Packers to be 7 and play the Eagles.
Really? They lost to them earlier in the year.
They lost him week 1 in Brazil.
That's right. It was week 1 in Brazil. Good point. That's what it would be right now. That's exactly what it would be.
The city of brotherly Jordan love.
So how do we feel about the Vikings then?
Listen. See, fucking what's his name? Sam Darnold. I almost called him Sam Dalton. Sam Darnold is proof of all the things that we were just talking about, which is like the difference between Patrick Mahomes, or maybe take Patrick Mahomes out of it, but like the difference between Joe Burrow and, again, fucking Jake Browning or whatever is like elite receivers, a good defense, like Sam Darnold obviously was done no favors by being on the Panthers and the Jets. Now he has Justin Jefferson, he has a defense, and he has a coach who's making it easy. But my God, like they're not. If they don't win next week, they're not the one. They don't even get a home week 1 of the playoffs.
It's insane. It's insane.
So yeah, I like Sam Darnold. I guess in they would go to the fucking Bucks or whatever. Well, I like that. But do I like him the next week? I guess I like him the next week a little bit against Detroit. And then you got to hope, like, here, this is why I'm like, I don't know who I want the Eagles to play. It's like, I want the Eagles to have to go on the road to somewhere. But really, that's just the winner of, like, in a way, I'm rooting for the Vikings next week. I think the Vikings having a home game makes it tougher on everyone. Now, that being said, I put the chances of the Vikings winning the Super Bowl, winning the Super Bowl at almost none. But listen, I put the Commanders' chances of winning the Super Bowl at almost none. I put the Rams' chances of winning a Super Bowl at essentially none. Like most of the teams, I have you at none.
Yeah.
Whoever comes out of the NFC South has 0% chance of winning the Super Bowl.
You know, I my thing with the Vikings, I agree with most of what you're saying. I just like what they did. I'm talking about from, again, constructing a roster. They get rid of Cousins. They obviously draft a QB.
You like what they did. I told them to do it before they fucking started the other plan.
But not only that, they drafted,
Did you like it when they did it 6 years ago with Case Keenum? Because it was a pretty good plan then. They had Diggs and Thielen and a defense, and they didn't pay their quarterback. And they made it to the NFC Championship game.
What do they do? What do they do after this year?
Here's the thing. I don't think you have to look at what you like. You've done this, right? Is the answer ponying up? Like, unless you're getting Darnold on a steal of a deal.
No, but let's. I'm not saying an insane deal, but I'm saying, like, do you?
If you can't get Darnold for under $30 million a year, then
That's
you just go JJ McCarthy.
That's what I was going to say. If you can get Darnold for 2 or 3 years at $25 million a year, I'd do it.
Yeah, but now there's probably a chance that the market is like, who else is going to want Sam Darnold? At $20 million a year or $25 million a year. But at the same time, look around the league. A lot of these guys are fucking getting paid who don't deserve to get paid in any way, shape, or form. So it's going to be interesting because what's going to happen with Brock Purdy? What's going to happen with, like there's a lot of guys out there that are, you got to think if they can do that with it. They drafted JJ McCarthy for a reason. So what are you doing? You're trading JJ McCarthy? How are you trading JJ? What in the world does anybody possibly think that you could get for a quarterback that you drafted in the middle of the first round who injured his knee before playing a snap? You think you're getting a first round draft pick?
Was he the 10th pick? I think he was middle of the first round.
Well, what's the middle? He wasn't a fucking top 5 draft pick.
He's 10. So he's top 10 pick.
There's 30 teams in the league.
32.
32. Okay.
Oh, I'm just saying. He's like.
So he's closer to 16th than he is to 1.
Well, for sure. I think if you can get Sam Darnold at a decent rate while he heals. But that division really got interesting. I don't know if you've seen this. The Vegas odds, the Vegas win total for the Vikings. I believe I'd have to look it up again. I saw it the other day. I should have taken a screenshot. I think it's the highest exceeding since the Kurt Warner Rams. Going into the season.
It tracks.
Does this game really matter for the Lions?
Big cock Brock trying to get that Sam Darnold money this year.
Bro, 14-16, 200 yards, 3 total touchdowns.
Yeah.
He's slapping that cock all over Dan Campbell's knees. He's saying, bite this, buddy. See if you can fit it all in your mouth.
Who do you have coming out of the NFC? Just like, who do you have? And I know you're like, oh, I low key like to, like, yeah. But if you had money to spread around, you're not going like, I'm all in on the Packers.
No, I'm not. But you know what? I'm like, the Lions deep to me. They've just had so many injuries. But I love the Lions offense. I got a call about the Lions. I like this. We got a nice hypothetical call on the Lions. I'll be real curious what you say. This is a fun. Let's live in fantasy land.
Yo, what's going on, Dairy Sports? Hunter from Michigan here with hopefully a fun hypothetical question for you guys. You are the Detroit Lions, and through some deal with the devil, maybe you decided to buy Ethan's cards or root for the Yankees or something like that. You are allowed to add to your team prime Calvin Johnson or prime Barry Sanders. Who are you picking and why? With Calvin Johnson, of course, you got one of the most dominant wide receivers ever. Great security blanket for Jared Goff. And, you already sort of have running backs, but at the same time, Barry Sanders. Nobody can just replace Barry Sanders. Nobody can do some of the things that Barry Sanders was able to do. So that's my question. Who are you taking if you could add it to this current Lions team? Are you taking Barry Sanders or are you taking Calvin Johnson? That's my question. Peace.
This is like the easiest question ever. Appreciate the call. Like it's I didn't even hesitate. It's Calvin Johnson.
I'm gonna go for guys who left the Lions for. I'm gonna go. It turns out it's Matthew Stafford the whole time. I'll take Stafford. Yeah, I think it's Calvin Johnson.
It's a no-brainer.
I don't think it's a no-brainer.
Really? Here's why.
But I think it's the decidedly right answer.
Here's why it's a no-brainer for me. Now, obviously, David Montgomery got hurt. They had a great 1-2 combo with Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery. Now, Jahmyr Gibbs, I think, is a great player. He's obviously no Barry Sanders. I want to rewind, by the way, real quick. A lot of people mocked the Lions when they took him in the draft, remember? Yes. And I always said, yeah, well, you don't know. Like, I don't know. I'm not a college guy. I don't know. So all the tools were like, nice reach. Well, it's worked out pretty well for them. So that was a good pick. But to me, it's a no-brainer because Calvin Johnson, man. You don't have to be perfect on your throws with him. You put him with Amon-Ra St. Brown, I mean, come on.
Yes, that's why it's the right answer. I'm going to play devil's advocate. In the modern NFL, I think Barry Sanders catches, like, I can't even imagine the
100 balls.
Yeah, like it wasn't like the world's greatest receiving running back, but like I think the ability to get into open space in the modern NFL and the way that they would be able to throw him the ball, I think it would make him borderline undefendable.
Okay, that's a fair point.
I still think that the answer is probably Matthew Stafford, Megatron, but it'd be pretty crazy.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, how do you scheme? I think the defensive schemes are way more screwed with.
Well, look at the Eagles and Saquon. Like, helps your defense when you can run a fucking 6-minute drill at the end of the game and just run it down people's throats. And
should he play this week?
Saquon?
Yeah.
They're locked into the 2.
They're locked into the 2.
He's going. Here's what's great. I saw it in their locker room. It's honestly, it's the one bright spot in, and this will have to be the segue into the dumpster fire Giants win.
Yeah,
but I saw it this weekend from their locker room. Thanks, Giants. The Giants are 3-13. You are locked into the 2 seed. The absolute fucking patheticness of you guys think. If I was Nick Sirianni, which I'm not because I can read it higher than a 5th grade level, I would be like, if you mention the last place team in our division in our locker room, you're off the team. I don't want in my team's mindset the 3-13 Giants, let alone for the 3-13 Giants to live rent-free in our locker room. But this doubles back to the question. Should he play? No. Will he play? Yes. because he's still trying to stick it to the Giants. What did they do? They're the only team in fucking a decade to draft a running back in the top 5. Oh, the horror. How they did Saquon so wrong. No, everybody cheered for you, even though you fucking missed games with injury every year.
Well,
So yeah, he's going to try to serve the Giants. And listen,
no, it's not even about the Giants. I'm talking.
But I'm saying that is a factor in the decision.
But
him breaking the record against the Giants is 100% part of his thought process.
So I didn't think about that. I was just thinking about breaking the record. To me, you definitely do not play. You're 101 yards away. Also, let's be honest. You didn't break the record because Eric Dickerson got it in 16 games.
Right.
So like, if I'm a player, I'm aware of that. Now, it's a little different if you were entering the 16th game. He definitely should not play.
He's going to play. He's going to try to break the record. And he's going to try to do it because it's against the Giants. And you know what? I wish no ill will toward anybody, but take your chances. Because suddenly the Giants aren't tanking.
Dude, I saw their chances. Their chances of the number 1 overall pick went from like 60-something% all the way down to like 3.
Yeah.
All those teams have to win this week.
Yeah.
Like the Browns and all those shitty teams. Were you just disgusted watching that? I can't believe it.
Do you think I watched that game? I'm disgusted that I understand that players can't tank and that players don't tank. I understand that's part of the NFL. Players don't tank, and you can't tank because you're putting yourself at risk of injury and whatever. But then there's the flip side of it where it was like the Darius Slayton, fuck your tank celebration or whatever. I'm like, Darius Slayton, I hate to break it to you, dude. You are going to be out of the NFL next year because you've never played with a good quarterback. So fuck your tank, fuck your career, dude. Like, what are we talking about here? Your last chance to exist in the NFL was getting a camp invite and playing with a quarterback that's halfway decent. So I don't know what the fuck he was thinking. And then I guess there's, from a coaching standpoint, you have to, like, I don't know. Are the Giants going to keep Dable? Are they not going to keep Dable? It certainly seems like they're sending Joe Shane to fucking, these bowl games to scout these quarterbacks that the GM's going to say. So then I'm assuming the Dable, Shane, Buffalo thing, I assume everybody's staying. And if you're staying, and then Brian Dable to go into press conferences and talk about quarterback play while actively ruining their chances. Dude, you were sucking off Jaden Daniels last year, but guess what? You couldn't draft him because you won games no one gave a shit about. And now you're doing it again. Dable should be fired for not benching Drew Lock halfway through the game.
I kind of wanted to see him get the, obviously I don't have a skin in this. I wanted to see the Giants get the number 1 seed.
Yeah, me
too. I'm sorry, get the number 1 pick.
Yeah, me too. And I don't want Shedeur Sanders.
I'm not sold on him either.
But guess what? You can't take the guy. The only pick that you with absolute certainty get the guy you want is that 1. And obviously, if somebody else wants him, the Raiders, you have all the fucking leverage in the world to trade the pick. I just don't understand. What is winning the 3rd game of the year? Who does it help? It doesn't help Malik Neighbors, who had to get, like, I get it. I get Malik Neighbors playing well, but like, That's why it's like Dable. Like, why is Drew like? Because it's some sort of. It looks bad to fucking tank, dude. Look at the teams that have tanked out there. That it like worked out for them.
Yeah. Coach, quarterback defense. You need that quarterback. You need that quarterback.
I don't watch college football. Cam Ward looks like he's a pretty good fucking football player from the highlights I've seen. I definitely like the very little I've seen, doing the eye test between him and Sanders. Sanders pushes the ball. I don't like Sanders, like arm. I the eye test between the two. I like Cam Ward, but like, dude, the Browns need a quarterback. The Patriots don't, but like also the Patriots don't have to do a deal with you. Also, now we have to spend draft capital to move up when all we had to do was just like not let Drew Lock play a second half and just go, oh, we're evaluating fucking Tim Boyle.
Yeah. I mean, that's an easy get out, the evaluation of somebody.
They've done it like done it like 3 out of the last 5 years. They've won meaningless football games. A cool story, Brian Dable. I guess talk about it over dinner with Ben McAdoo and Pat Shurmur and fucking Joe Judge at the fucking dipshit national conference.
So you referenced, I'm going to pose a question that I had for this show. You referenced the Browns needing a quarterback, just like your Giants, just like the Jets.
Jesus Christ, the Jets.
So the Jets, okay. So let's talk about the Jets and the Browns real quick. And then I'm going to pose my question. So we all know what the Browns did. They went all in on Deshaun Watson, worst contract ever. Jets go all in on Aaron Rodgers, which I don't think enough people talk about how Green Bay has just fleeced the Jets twice with their aging Hall of Fame quarterbacks. It's pretty insane that they've done this twice, and that they don't miss a beat.
And again, it's even more insane that they already have a deal in terms for Jordan Love's 38-year season. They're like, we don't know who our fucking coach will be then, or who will be trading you, but I know we'll be trading you draft picks for Jordan Love.
So my question is, who between the Jets and the Browns, which team who desperately needs a QB, who desperately is fucked themselves by going after QBs they shouldn't have, who makes it to the playoffs / wins a playoff game first?
Jeez.
What a tough one, right? The Jets or the Browns?
I think when you just think about the divisions, the Bills are pretty good and seemingly not going anywhere for a while. And you could say that the Patriots are like looking up, but the Patriots are still 3-13.
Yeah.
And the Dolphins are a fucking, the Dolphins. If you're the Browns, the Steelers, you can kind of pencil in for, they might not run away with the division, but like you pencil them in for like fighting for a wild card spot. Joe Burrow's not going anywhere. And Lamar Jackson's not going anywhere. So I'll go the Jets.
You're going Jets.
Because the Jets also still have talented guys like on the fucking team. That's the craziest part about the. I mean, now also there's a teenager running their front office, but like, but Aaron Rodgers could legitimately retire. Deshaun Watson's on the books for how many more years? 2?
I think 3.
Straight up on the books. I don't think anybody's trading for him.
Yeah. What a bad situation for those franchises to be in. I'm gonna say this though about the Browns. I'm gonna say this because everybody is obviously look at Baker Mayfield. His year. And they got rid of Baker Mayfield. Guys, nobody saw the Baker Mayfield resurgence. I'm sorry, nobody did. So I'm gonna defend the Browns in that regard of like.
Well, forget the Baker Mayfield resurgence. You're the Browns. Did Baker Mayfield need to resurge?
They won a playoff game with him.
That's my point. It's like you went so long without having a guy that was a stable thing there. Like, also, you drafted Baker Mayfield 1 overall because you're the Browns, and then are like, Baker Mayfield's a little too erratic for us. I'm like, you're the Browns. And you were the ones that took him 1 when no one else was going to take him 1. So you're like, you bought a Hummer, and then you're like, this burns a lot of gas. Well, you got the dually Hummer. You got the random Hummer. Like somehow you got a Hummer that has 4 back wheels.
But let me say this though. They thought he couldn't take him to the
next level.
That's what they thought. So I was
they're the Browns. This is this is my point. This is unbelievable to me. Oh, we're on the verge. Hey, I know I'm the new guy here. Thank you guys all for letting me into the war room. I wasn't planning on working for a football team when I moved to Cleveland. I came here. My wife got stationed. She works for an environmental agency to clean up the river. So I got stationed here, but I do have a football background. I applied. Thank you guys for hiring me. Just throw it out there. You're the Browns. I don't think giving up a guy who has got you to the playoffs one time in exchange for a rapist that you don't need to pay is a great idea. Also, have you guys considered just trading for him and not giving him the biggest quarterback deal of all time? Like he feels like he doesn't have a lot of bargaining power since he's accused of multiple rapes. I don't know. This is just me, new guy here, throwing it out there. Again, thanks, Joe, new guy.
I mean, here's the thing, though. He's having his best 2 years since he left. Well, that's why I say resurgence.
There should be a like a test the waivers thing. Should be like, hey, think about putting Baker Mayfield on waivers. Anybody want him? And Sean McVay's like, I'll take him. It's like, nah, we're not going to do it. Actually, we changed our mind. We're gonna put Deshaun Watson on waivers. Any takers? No, nobody. Fuck. Fuck.
Yeah. I get, when you put it that way, it is interesting. I don't know a franchise who would have done the Deshaun Watson. Not that they're the million rapes. Not that even matters to these teams because it doesn't. But it was the money.
And yeah, but and then you talk about the Jets. It's like, I was just raging about the Giants doing the same thing over and over again. It's like, imagine being a Jets fan, right? You're a Jets fan. You are watching Brett Favre send dick pics and jet it up. And you're like, honestly, this is and you pull out your fucking handgun and you put it in your mouth and you try to blow your brains out. And then you come to in a hospital room. And they're like, you're awake. And you're like, what happened? And it's like, you tried to kill yourself because Brett Favre. And he's like, oh, well, what's going on with the Jets? They they traded for a super old elite former quarterback from the Packers. And you're like, no, that's when I've been in the coma for 14 seconds. That's why I tried to kill myself. No, yeah, they did it again. They did it again. And he's just like, where's my gun?
It's insane, dude.
He's like, Doc, how did I fuck this up the first time? Do I have to like hit my brainstem? Like, what's the move here? How does one kill themselves?
Zach Wilson's going to go somewhere. I know he's a backup in Denver. He's going to become an elite
Zach Wilson's
quarterback.
Zach Wilson's going to be the starting quarterback of the fucking Vikings next year because they're like, we're not paying Sam Darnold. What are you, drunk?
I mean, that's a pretty big toss-up at this point, the Jets and the Browns.
Yeah.
One team is giving a rapist $230 million guaranteed. The other team is deciding who they trade or draft based on a teenage boy's Madden skills.
Named Brick. Don't forget that.
I know. Oh my God, it's insane. It's absolutely insane. Well, you asked me, so I'm gonna have to ask you then. Well, then who do you think in the NFC? If you're saying, if we're both kind of like, oh, low key Packers, we just think that they're gonna do something.
Well, I'm out on the Rams. The Rams haven't shown me a lot the last couple of weeks. Now, it doesn't mean I don't think that they could sneak a win from somebody, but I'm out on the Rams. I don't think the Commanders have enough. But you don't want to play that Commanders week 1 in the playoffs.
No.
That's fucking.
Because they're playing. Here's the thing: they're playing with house money.
Let me ask you something. If you're the Eagles, would you rather play the Commanders at home or would you rather play the Packers at home? You've played the Commanders twice already. You lost.
I don't want to play a division opponent, no matter the team. Right? You don't want to play a division opponent, right? I'm saying regardless. I don't want to play the Commanders.
Okay.
I'd rather play the Packers.
I think the Lions defense is too hurt.
So you agree with me?
I think that the Eagles come out of the NFC if they don't have to go on the road. But I'm also like the Packers, or like I don't know, like I don't think it's the Lions anymore. Here's the thing about the Vikings Eagles toss up to me. I'll tell you the truth. I don't believe in Jalen Hurts any more or less than I believe in Sam Darnold. I'll just fucking say it.
I'll tell you what, if the Vikings get the 1 seed, that'd be a tough place to play, man, in that dome. By the way, I know we're watching the game in the background. This Lions defense looks absolutely terrible. They're just giving up chunk play after they're not tackling. Guys are just wide open. I agree. I just think they're D.
Listen. Coach and defense and quarterback, when you look at Vikings Eagles, I guess technically, is the Eagles defense technically statistically better than the Vikings so far this year?
Well, the only stat I care about is points per game.
Right.
They're 3-4. Minnesota's 4, Philly's 3.
Okay, so push.
Coach. Vikings.
Not even close, in my opinion.
I agree.
Quarterback.
I'm going Hurts. You're probably gonna disagree with me.
But I mean, at the very least, I'm going push. I just said I believe in Darnold, but I'm not You can't convince me it's not at least a push.
You think it's a push between a guy who's never won a playoff game versus a guy who's played in a Super Bowl, based off experience alone?
Like, I mean, their stat, like, where are their stat? Like, I don't even to look.
Darnold's
to
having
even,
a great
even,
year.
to even go down.
I don't even need to see the stats. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah,
that's my point. Oh, it's gonna be fun, man. It's gonna be wild. And even in the AFC,
I just think the AFC is winning the Super Bowl.
do the Bills? Do they break the rule? It's the 6th year with McDermott and Josh Allen. You have to win within the first 5 years. Coach quarterback combo. Does that break? Just like how the Chiefs a couple years ago, Mahomes became the first QB ever to lead the league in passing yards and win a Super Bowl. That had never happened. Do they do something like that where they break something that's never happened before? I mean, personally, I'm still sticking with the Chiefs to make it to the Super Bowl. Especially, dude, if they don't play their starters versus the Broncos or even like their stars, it's like 25 days off those guys have because they played on Christmas.
Are you worried about that at all? Or not at all because it's the Chiefs?
Not at all because it's the Chiefs.
Not at all.
Not at all.
Zero. Not 1%. 25 is a lot of days.
I guess the opponent matters. A Chargers. We talk about not playing a division opponent 3 times. Chargers lost 2 games by a combined 9 points
to the Chiefs.
So it's like those games are just neck and neck. I don't know. I know the Chiefs are purposely they're gonna put in a 4th-string quarterback so they don't have to face the Bengals.
They're afraid.
By the way, Denver's 9.5-point favorites in that game.
In the Chiefs game?
Yeah.
Wow.
So Vegas is saying they're sitting.
Yeah.
Now here's the thing, though. You and I both know this. Backups win games all the time.
Yeah.
These last regular, like
Matt Flynn got himself a fucking, what was that deal he got?
Yeah, an insane deal. And then they drafted Russell Wilson, which was the funniest part about all of it.
Yeah.
That's right. Matt Flynn comes in for Rodgers and got a fat deal. Like I'm not saying Carson Wentz is going to light up the Broncos D, who's also really good. I mean, they sacked Burrow 7 times last week. But like, you never know is my point. These people forget these guys are playing for their livelihood.
Yeah.
Like these guys are like, I want to be able to continue to play. I don't know what to do.
Yeah, like when Carson Wentz lights up the fucking Broncos and goes back to the Eagles on a deal after a buttfuck kills Jalen Hurts, it's gonna be wild. Eagles fans at first will be sad, but then are like, we don't have to root for a black quarterback anymore.
Death by buttfuck.
By the way, I sent my friends a text. I was like, the Giants, when they're sitting in a draft position where they have to draft a black quarterback. And then it was just a picture of Tom Brady and Randy Moss on the 18-1 team.
They do a death by 1,000 cuts, death by 1,000 buttfucks.
Yeah.
The Jalen Hurts story. You know what? We both missed so hard that we thought Aaron Rodgers had one good game in him. And bro, just a disaster.
What's so funny is that game was like, nothing really happening. It was like, oh, it's gonna be, and then just the wheels came off.
What's gonna be interesting though this week is there what's Miami like 1-9 when it's below a certain like all time a certain temperature, and Tua might not play. Which, I mean, I'll be honest, Tua is like, Tua literally has brain freeze in the cold. Like his brain, like his brain, literally, his CTE brain is literally.
They just
frozen.
go. They call me Mr. Freeze.
Oh man. Well, it's here, man. It's
Did we decide? Am I pushing this? Am I pushing this suicide pick?
yeah, man. Take the Chargers.
I mean, it's $700 free right now if I want it.
Get
And
Marianne Doe. Ask Marianne Doe what she would do. She's artificial intelligence, so she'll be able to respond.
Like,
what would you do?
Take the Chargers. Take the Chargers.
Ask her. You know, I was saying all season, I was like low
Do we have
key.
we have any live viewers in here? Anybody in the chat?
We got a few people in.
I want to hear from our fans. Do I take the money and run?
Well, we had a few comments earlier. Joe could take Pat's money line as a hedge if you don't split.
Well, I mean, but okay, hold on. That then like I don't know for a fact that he's going to take the Pats, right? Or that he's going to take the Bills. I don't know that for a fact, but it makes me think he is going to. And that's why I feel like the offer came through.
Well, let me put it this way: if you're looking at the lines, Buffalo's a 3-point favorite.
Yeah.
Whereas the Chargers are 5.5. I think the Chargers are going to march in there again. This isn't the old, which is hilarious because it was that Raiders Chargers game. The Chargers played themselves out of the playoffs.
I know.
That was the old school, man. That was let's go Brandon Staley. And haven't heard that one for a while. That was like that was the Cuba Gooding Jr. character from radio chanting "Let's go Brandon."
Yeah.
And them losing. This is hardball, dude. He like I said, I think he's going to be like, guys, let's go into the playoffs with some momentum. Don't forget, the Chargers are giving up the fewest amount of points of any team in the NFL.
Yeah.
You think Aiden O'Connell?
No. No.
He's going to put up points on the Chargers D?
But then it gets into a situation where I'm like, okay, you got the Raiders at a 30% chance to win. I
shouldn't have said I bet 25 or lower.
Okay, 25. And then there's the factor of like, what if, I mean, it's I would say it's an 85% chance I'm taking a split in a week anyway. Right?
Oh, I got you. I see what you're saying. That you both go, nobody loses. Okay.
But I think the offer came through because he's like, wow, it is the Bills sitting. Guy, who's the Bills' backup?
Let's look it up. Who the Bills got? All right, let's go to the depth chart. Mitch Trubisky, baby.
Ooh.
I mean,
the Bills are locked and loaded 2 seed.
Correct.
I may have to seek a third opinion.
I mean, look, personally, I'm going all in on the Chargers. That's what I'm doing. That's what I would do.
If there was a hedge option available, I would do it. But like, I can't. I could hedge on a fucking Patriots money line. Then he just takes the Bengals to beat the Steelers, and then I get fucked.
He's not touching that game. That would be ludicrous. He's gonna take first of all, that line was a weird line. It opened -3.5 Bengals. They're on the road. Now it's down to -1.5 Bengals. By the way, side note, every Bengals fan is just assuming they're going to beat the Steelers, which is hilarious.
I know.
I was at the last Bengals Steelers game. They made Russell Wilson look like the best he's ever looked, ever. Minus the opening pick six, which realistically wasn't really his fault because Pickens fell to the ground like a bitch. I mean, that's a big if there. I don't know. I think you take the Chargers, man. I really do. I think it's almost a no-brainer. There's an Eagles fan at this game. What are you doing, dork? And a Broncos fan. What are these cucks doing? You're in a full Eagles gear. You're in full Broncos gear. It's the Lions Niners. What is wrong with these people? Let me bring back the cuck cam right now. 310-359-8365. That's the hotline. You know what the Lions need? You know what you guys need for good luck heading into the playoffs? This is an old dirty sports callback. This is an old sports callback. You need somebody eating ass in your parking lot. Remember when that dude was caught eating a girl's ass? Eating her ass. Outside of Ford Field. Do we have confirmation? Does anyone know? Was that Dan Campbell?
Yes, Dan Campbell was eating ass. That's how he got that fucking voice.
That's why his teeth were all jacked. Remember, did you see his teeth a few weeks ago? Oh, his teeth, that wasn't tobacco, that was shit. By the way,
the winner of next week's game is the 1 seed no matter what.
No matter what.
It's
in Denver, or I'm sorry, it's in Detroit. That's why a lot of people were like, do you even play your starters against the Niners?
Today.
And Dan Campbell was like, we're going there to win.
Yeah.
Like they've known since that Packers game ended yesterday. This game's kind of meaningless, to be honest. It all goes back to that.
Well, follow me on all social media at Joe Prano. Come see me if you're in Bozeman, Montana. Come see me if you're in Los Angeles. JoePrano.com/shows. If you're listening to this, it is either on a very late on a Monday somewhere or on a Tuesday, which means that in the next few hours and or already has happened a new episode of Jay Moore's podcast, which I'll be producing, pseudo co-hosting, is available on YouTube, on all other podcast platforms. Give More Stories a listen, especially this first episode. It's kind of cool. I'm just gonna be producing mostly, but on this one I have a lot of questions. Jay just did a solo pod and I asked him a lot about addiction and rehab and marrying Jeannie Buss, and so give it a listen.
Cool. All right, that is the show, guys. Enjoy your week. We will be back for the new year. So that will be on Friday, right?
Yeah.
Because we're not doing New Year's Day, and that's Thursday anyway. Back in the new year. So stick around for that. Might have some big news for the new year.
Ooh.
So
I thought you were breaking something to me, and then it hit me.
Stay tuned for that on Friday. All right, guys. Have a great week. Happy New Year. And as always, stay dirty.